Hi, and welcome to the Scientistsage Sangha. I'm Nancy Anderson Dolan from Wise Heart Wellness, and we're so glad to have you here with us today. We're talking about heartwood. This is the Scientistsage Sangha, and we study a particular word and how we might apply it in our lives and broaden ourselves with it. So today's word is heartwood, and I love this idea. And I'd only ever heard about it from people that are sort of far off the grid, Tara Brock and Sandra Ingerman, and they always talk a lot about trees. But heartwood is the actual inner core of the tree. And if you saw the picture of that was in the email, there literally is a circle of wood on the inside of every tree that is no longer alive, but it's not rotting. It is actually built the inside of the tree that helps it stay strong. And it's over time. And the more and more of the inner, more and more of the outer becomes the inner and keeps it strong. And it's quite amazing the process of it, because if it didn't have that inner part being literally old wood, then it wouldn't withstand the storms and things. And heartwood gets stronger and better with resistance. So with trouble, basically, with storms and making it through things. And not only the inside heartwood gets stronger, but the root underneath gets more diverse and stronger and deeper as there are stresses on the tree. And so this idea of heartwood is literally very translatable to ourselves, because our inner core, our heart, our soul, we might call it, it gets stronger with stresses too, if we come to the stress in a particular way. And a lot of my work as a counselor is helping people correct where they have come to difficult things in ways that do not strengthen them on the inside, that may weaken them. And that can be because they are stuck in a reactive response. And so the heartwood isn't building up. They're not learning from each thing year after year. It's actually just cranking their cortisol and sending out all sorts of chemicals that are not good for the system. And you see that in a few trees, not very many, but in a few trees, you'll see how they rot away inside for some reason. But there's been some sort of incursion or something like that. So this idea of building our own heartwood and coming back to it really caught my attention when I saw it, because of practices I've learned. And one of them is that you literally make like a tree. So you go along and you imagine yourself as a tree, or merging into a tree. And the sense of it is that you are there and you feel that strength and in the center, and you feel the aliveness moving up and down the xylem and phloem, because what happens is the water comes up from underneath, and the activation from the light and the energy come down through the tree, and that builds the tree and builds the heartwood. And so when you have that visualization and do that for yourself, you actually feel nourished and you feel enlightened, because you are like, oh wow, that the light actually comes in and makes the leaves work and sends messages down the tree, things like that. And so it's really a lovely practice. And then as you're feeling it and the branches raise up, and when you literally grow out in that way towards other things and people and adventures and experiences, it grows the heartwood, because when there are heavy branches going out, the heartwood carries the weight and grows stronger. So all of these experiences are really useful for us to just reflect back, especially in this day and age, where there are so many stressors on us, because we don't know what's going to come next. And we need both that flexibility of making like a tree and that inner core And a lot of people are going sort of one way or the other. They feel, someone used the word today when I was talking to them, okay, if this happens, I'll be destroyed. And that is not good Heartwood building. But it really is this idea of how do I grow in response to stress? And some people have had a lot of stresses and then learned new ways to cope, whether it's breathing things or giving back, being of service, doing a gratitude list, whatever they're doing to build their inner experience. Compassion and kindness and gratitude, all of those things are practices. We choose those things. They don't just happen to us. I believe that all humans are built with an ingrown program for compassion and kindness, but we don't always get it working. And in particular, if we don't get it demonstrated to us, sometimes that switch never gets flipped. And so we don't build that heart strength inside. And as I was going through some accounting trauma today, I could feel that sort of assault on my system. And okay, wait a minute, this is accounting. It's not good. I'm really not liking what's happening, the way it's going, but I will be okay. Nobody's bombing my house. It's okay. And as I was sitting there, I could feel that start to change. And so every time you pull back from distress or negativity, things like that, and it's not that I have to be Pollyanna all the time and only think positive thoughts and one negative thought's going to destroy me. It's a pattern of responding that builds. And so we want to talk about those patterns that come along. Because if I don't have those strong roots and that heartwood, I won't stand up as easily to things. Because if I don't have any heartwood, but I've got good roots and I'm just sort of dug in, and people do get that way, and maybe they've had a good start, but they've been falling prey to all the negativity, and it just is so rampant around us, the divisiveness, the belief in divisiveness even, where if you look under the forest floor, everything is connected, everything is wound together and talking to each other. We are absolutely all here together. The idea that we can be divided is a mental thought. And so feeling into that presence that is feeling the connection can be really strengthening and stabilizing for us right now. And if the roots are not strong, if we don't practice the rooting part of this too, the grounding part of it, the weight of the heartwood won't save the tree either. And we see that with people getting sort of into what they think is right and then believing that other people are all wrong. And that divisiveness comes up. So we aren't putting our roots out and joining up and that sort of thing. It's tough when things are painted so negatively. Like if you're like this, it's not okay. You need to be like this. But you can see where I live in Canada, there is a lot of coming together. And that is just part of what happens. And under crisis, if people are primed to turn that way. Now, the particular province I live in is trying to push a little bit the other way. And it's easy to fall for that. But if I remember that the connection and unity is the way of the world, of the planet, then I go, wait a minute, it's probably not the best choice. What can I do? I don't have to agree with people, and I can work for what I want to do. I was just saying that I'm going to participate in running the next election for the Prime Minister in Canada, because I think the process is important. I would like people to vote the way I think they should, but the process is the unity. And so I want to be involved in that. So this idea, though, that we can go on without community, things like that, it's something we really have to feel into. I was walking today and saw a group of a whole bunch of trees, or yesterday, I guess. And they were some groups were leaning one way and some were leaning the other way. And I thought, wow, they all are together and being strong together. And these trees are as old as I am, because they were planted in this community at the same time I was born and brought home to the community. So we all, grew up leaning one way or the other. But I thought, wow, they're just doing all that. They've weathered those storms, and they're just, they're going to go into the next season, despite their leaning one way or the other, and, the difficulties they faced. And I could feel as I walked across the grass and through the different little groves, their roots are all mingled under your feet. And they come up at some part, and the grass is covering them all up at some part, but they're all under there together. So this idea that we can do that and form that inner bond and get that strength going on. And it isn't that we don't have challenges, or that we don't, it's not about don't be distressed about the challenges. It's about that's a normal part of life. The stress isn't a bad thing if we don't call it the end of the game. So if I believe that, if this accounting thing didn't get sorted out the way I wanted it to, exactly when I wanted it to, then the world would end. Then I would have a problem. My heart would be breaking down, not building up. And so what we can understand, though, is that every fear, every disappointment, every depression, every failure are opportunities to grow that heart, to feel all of the feelings through, not to pave over them, and go, wait a minute, I'm going to choose a particular approach. And so from there, people are, wondering, first of all, what do you mean? How do you do that? Blah, blah, blah. And sometimes it is that in moment of strife to think, okay, this is only a moment in time. I've made it through many things, because if you're hearing this, you've made it through all your challenges so far. And not that you haven't been battered or bruised or things like that. And not that it's going the way you want it to. In talking to someone this morning, they were saying, but I don't like it like this. I'm like, I know you don't. But what about moving in, taking in the awareness of what's going on, what's really actually going on, not what I would like to be going on, or what's going to go on in the future, or what happened back there, but just what's going on right now. And it might be that I can't walk, I'm having trouble seeing, or maybe I've lost someone dear to me, or a job. But if I take that in and feel that pain, I get that building strength, and I get to go, okay, what's next? And what do I need to accept these things. So this cycle of awareness, acceptance, and action. And so the trees, they grow, the heartwood gets stronger, and that's their action. And we can do that too. But we have to, go through the distress, not, pave it over. And so in those moments, we can support ourselves. We can ask somebody to help us, have a different perspective, talk to people. We can do ceremony. We can, read books. We can talk to people that know how to do this or have done this, all those kinds of things. But also, I can literally go along and do different things to make it more likely that I'm going to lean that way. So if I start in the morning looking at news, it weakens my day. But if I start in the morning, I've gone heavily into curating my social media accounts to the positive. Probably 4 or 5 times more than I would have done before, because that's what I feel I need, and that's what I want to put out in the world. And so really finding and sharing positive things, having gratitude, really coming back to ourselves. And then I really, really know that each of us get this whispered guidance from the core. but it is whispered. It's not like, no, don't do that, do this, wear the red dress, not the blue dress, live over here, live over there. But it's there. And as we slow down to listen to it, a practice of listening and asking, it's really useful. And so if I'm feeling guided, that makes me feel more solid. And if I'm running around like a crazy person wanting things my way, as I was doing today with the accounting, yeah, that's draining. That's not building anything. And so there's these practices that we can practice long term, maybe slowing things down a bit, really asking for which things I need to be doing right now. What are the things that are useful for me? What are the things that are weakening me? And your body will tell you, and you can get guidance from all sorts of places. And I'll just stop, I think, there, check my time, because then I really tell people to do the visualization of the tree. Because one of the things that happens is that the energy, it's just energy. So we might get this negative energy, whether it's from a situation we're in personally, or if it's from all the energy around us right now. And there's a lot of things going on on the planet, in the universe, lots of things with lots of different energy, but it's all energy. And I was blessed enough to do a little ceremony with some addicts at a treatment center last night. And we just wrote things that we wanted to say goodbye to, we wanted to let go of. And then they would literally crunch them up in a little ball and throw them in a garbage can. And this sounds so, mundane. But people are saying after, I feel really different. I feel like something's changed in me. And this was physical change they were talking about. And so it literally is that idea. So the idea of remembering the roots and the core, I can ground and through meditation and things like that, but also taking care that I am building Heartwood. So what we're going to finish with is just a meditation about the trees. So if you're with me live, get comfortable, feel free to go off camera. And if you're seeing this later, just take your time and get a little comfortable there. And I encourage you to either do it with a picture of a tree in front of you, or looking out your window at a tree, or best of all, like standing against a tree. And then just slow down, take a breath, take time to let your brain slow down. And just imagine, walking up to a tree and just merging with it. So your essence is with the tree's essence. And you can feel those strong, steady roots deep in the earth. And your roots can grow. Literally grow down into the dirt, into the very earth. Around those heavy stones, meeting with other roots around. You feel steady there. Just bring your intention up and feel that light moving up and down the tree. It's quite literally the energy of light taken in and move through, and water coming up from the bottom, moving out, feeding the leaves and branches. And just let yourself expand. Feel how that soothes your energy, spreads it out, cleans it up. And I encourage you to particularly focus on your head. You might even touch your head. A lot of energy gets stuck there. If you have a heartbreak or a resentment that might sit in your chest, just open up to let that flow, take some out. You just want all the energy moving. just like with the trees, non-stop movement of energy up and down, up and out, down and into the earth. And any particular energy of a worry or um, emotions that feel like they're sort of stuck, just let it flow through you into the earth. And people worry about putting all that negative energy into the earth. The earth doesn't perceive it as negative. It's just energy for the earth. And it recycles it. That's why we ground electricity in there. All of that back and forth. Feel that strength in the center. And just listen to your body. And is there anything that you need to attend to move away from, take out of your body? And is there anything that you need to do for your body? I often lose a lot of people at this moment because they find out they have to go to the bathroom. But just listen, maybe your body wants water, or sleep, or touch, or just didn't change in environment or thought. And as you're ready, just come back to us. And I'm going to close. So for people watching later, we'll say good night. Those with me, we'll talk in a moment. I am with you, you are with me. Blessed be. Thank you for watching.